I love burgers, but it's not the only thing I eat. I also like to make food with ground beef that's not a burger. That's right. I'm going to show you how to make things with ground beef that's not a burger. Comamos empanadas. The empanada is the pride of Argentina and one of the greatest meat-stuffed foods in the world. Like its global food cousins, the pierogi, the dumpling, the Brazilian pastel, even America's Hot Pocket, empanadas have been around forever. The Chinese dumpling is probably the oldest, going all the way back 2,000 years to the Han Dynasty. Pow! Empanadas can be found all over South America, but some of the best, and they'll tell you that too, come from Argentina. The recipe that I use is not just any recipe, it's also not mine. It comes from my good friend Rodolfo in Buenos Aires. Rodo owns a few of the best hamburger joints in Buenos Aires, and his father recently closed the family's 20-year-old restaurant Panini. These empanadas are from the restaurant Panini, and this recipe is here to honor that legacy. Let's do this! There's two parts here. There's the filling, and then of course there's the dough. The ingredients: oil, onion, tomato puree, tomato paste, vegetable broth, crushed red pepper, paprika, oregano, black pepper, salt, white wine, and of course, fresh ground beef. I make my own dough. You should too. Don't use pizza dough, please. Pizza dough has yeast in it, and you want to make a good pie crust dough. Most people in South America making empanadas will use some kind of a shortening or lard. I made one of my favorite butter crust doughs. First things first, oil in the pan. Onions in the oil. Saute the onions until they're just soft. Then the beef goes in. Beef. Once the meat is browned, add everything else. One. Smells like Argentina in here. Once you've got all the ingredients in place, cover it and simmer for over an hour. Once all the liquid is cooked off, you're gonna wanna also take off some of the fat as well, and then you have to let the filling cool, because you can't put the filling into the dough until it's cooled. Now I'm going to put the filling into the dough and wrap it up. You want to use some water to wet your finger and wet the edges. If you're in Argentina, they use some kind of a crazy braided technique. I'm not doing that. It's totally acceptable to use a fork and just pinch the edges. Yo! Perfect! Look at that! Little half moons of yum. Into the oven, 400 degrees for like 20 minutes, but more importantly, until they're browned on top. Once they've browned, they're ready. Yum! If you're eating empanadas in a restaurant in Argentina, there's a good chance there's going to be some of this stuff on the table. This is a classic chimichurri, which is made from dried spices, and I also put some tomato and onion in here as well. It's the empanada from the now closed Panini in Buenos Aires, Argentina. That is good, but I need some chimichurri in there. I feel like I'm in Argentina, and it's not a burger. Look for the recipe on schweidsons.com or on my website, georgemotz.com. Oh, hot. Was all that hot?